watching News 4 San Antonio.
The church should bring people to God and not destroy them.
Our top story tonight, a new report on sexual abuse by priests in the San Antonio area shows that 57 members of the clergy connected to the Archdiocese of San Antonio have been credibly accused of sexually abusing children since 1940. And our Zach Hedrick joins us now live from the Archdiocese Pastoral Center with more on this report. Zach?
Randy, even with this report coming out today, the Archbishop says they're continuing to investigate allegations against living and deceased clergy. Archbishop Gustavo Garcia Sierra addressed the Archdiocese of San Antonio in English.
People of God.
And in Spanish.
Cuerpo de Cristo es renovar.
Several times the Archbishop became emotional.
Nuestro compromiso con la santidad y la justicia.
The report outlines more than 150 credible allegations against 57 clergy members.
We were not where we should have been. That we did not act in a timely manner.
The report spans from the 1940s through 2019. During that time, more than 3,000 priests ministered in the Archdiocese.
What we are doing here is also truly just and right.
The Archdiocese says most of the priests identified are either dead or have been removed from ministry.
This report can bring more people to come forward, and it's part of what we intend.
While the list was being compiled, the Archbishop says he met with survivors of sexual abuse here in San Antonio.
They disclose their pain, their struggles, their anger, and their anger with society, their anger with the church, their anger to God.
The investigating and report was done by an independent lay commission. In a letter preceding the report, last fall we began the work to research and develop this report, and releasing it does not bring an end to this work. It will continue. We know there is still work to be done. The report also includes a section for survivors of sexual abuse. It provides assistance and resources. It's on page 6. And if you'd like to take a full look at this report, we've got a copy of it on our website, news4sa.com. Back to you.
All right, Zach, thank you so much. You heard in Zach's story just how emotional this time is for the Archbishop, and that is also reflected in his letter that came out with that report today. He wrote in it, "As I write these words, I am deeply aware of, piercing my body and to the depth of my soul, the bitter wind that has been sweeping through the church, causing turmoil, confusion, and anger." Continuing our team coverage with News 4 troubleshooter tonight, Jay Avila. He's been gathering the new names on this list we haven't heard before. Jay?
I've been cross-checking the list we got today with the abuse allegations we've reported on over the years and other cases that have been made public through court documents. I count 33 abuse cases we didn't know about before today. One example is James Patrick Orr, a deacon at Our Lady of the Atonement on the Northwest Side. Over the years, several victims came forward and accused him of molesting them while he worked as a volunteer at the parish in the early 90s before he became a deacon. According to today's report, the current pastor at Atonement knew about one allegation but determined it wasn't credible and did not tell the Archbishop until 2016. Orr died just 10 days ago, but he'd been forbidden to function as a deacon since 2015. John Fiala was a priest of the Society of Our Lady of the Most Holy Trinity who wanted to join on with the Archdiocese. He was assigned to churches in Lakey, Rock Springs, Camp Wood, and Harper from 2005 to 2008. The diocese says the Society of Our Lady of the Most Holy Trinity withheld information about abuse allegations against him. Fiala died in prison in 2017 after being convicted of child sex abuse charges. Now, the report also says 3 priests who had credible allegations against them cannot currently be located by the Archdiocese. Now, our Irene Cruz joins us now with some cases that we have heard about.
Yeah, Jay, we've been combing through the list. We found a good number of those names we reported on in the past, 24 to be exact. And here are a few examples. Virgilio Elizondo was ordained a priest in 1963. A man claimed he was sexually abused by a different priest in the 80s and says when he tried to report it to Elizondo, Elizondo kissed and touched the alleged victim. In another case, just last year, Edward Pavlicek was accused of child sexual abuse between 1986 and 1988. Pavlicek was ordained in 1983. He was assigned to St. Anne, St. Leo, and St. Benedict's. Again, 24 names we've reported on in the past, some accused of possessing child pornography and some with up to 16 allegations per priest. And we also combed through bishopaccountability.org and found 11 more priests, nuns, and brothers who may have passed through San Antonio in the 70s, 80s, and 90s as teachers, pastors, or seminarians have credible allegations against them. Delane?
All right, Irene, thank you so much. We did hear today from the district attorney, and he says, like any other crime, the allegations have to be investigated by a law enforcement agency. He does say it is important to note every crime has a statute of limitations and that once cases are brought to his office, they will look at them to see if they can be prosecuted. Of course, we will have much more on this story and from the DA coming up tonight at 6 o'clock.
And we're really just scratching the surface of this developing story. We have much more, including more reaction. And also, you can read the full report from the Archdiocese right now. That's on our website, news4sa.com.
Melissa Vega at the Live Desk. New information coming out less than an hour ago from Houston's police chief about the shootout that left 5 police officers injured and 2 suspects dead. The police chief saying 3 officers are still in the hospital tonight. One had facial reconstructive surgery yesterday. Another officer has been upgraded from critical to fair condition. The officer who had knee surgery is expected to be released possibly tomorrow. The 2 other officers who were shot are recovering at home. A total of 4 officers were shot and 1 injured while executing a search warrant for drugs. Now, the investigation is ongoing. The chief saying he's aware that conspiracy theorists have speculated officers raided the wrong home. Well, the chief saying, quote, "I promise you, we were at the right house."
Motion carries. Congratulations, Eric Walsh.
New at 5 tonight, the city of San Antonio officially has a brand new city manager. It is Eric Walsh. He was approved unanimously today by the city council. He'll get a base salary of $312,000 and he is not eligible for a bonus. More on his contract and how it compares to Cheryl Scully's at 6.
Cloudy skies. We've had a little mist and a couple light showers in around the metro through the day. Actually, had some thunderstorms in our eastern zone counties this afternoon. And now this evening, it's just patches of rain covering our eastern zone county, especially in Lavaca County, some of DeWitt County. We bring this back west, and on occasion, we've had a few patches of a little bit of mist here in Bexar County. And that will continue through this evening here. Cloudy skies, a little mist. And then late this evening into tonight, areas of dense fog likely developing. So no temperatures holding steady in the upper 50s. Again, slight rain chance, and we'll be on the lookout for lower visibility as we get closer to midnight. We'll talk about Friday into your weekend just ahead. Delane?
All right, Chris, thank you. Turning now to the latest in a money laundering investigation in the Stone Oak area. Just a few hours ago, one of the targets in this morning's raid was in federal court. Our Yami Virgen has more on what they allegedly laundered their money with.
This operation started very early this morning, several miles away from here, Ritterman Road, where we're at right now. It started actually up in Champions Run in Stone Oak. That's where 4 people were detained as part of this operation, a money laundering investigation that has taken over a year. Under the cover of night and with the element of surprise on their side, Bexar County SWAT team in a joint federal investigation busted into an exclusive Stone Oak neighborhood to serve warrants to one of 2 defendants allegedly involved in this case.
It's been ongoing for over 1 year, jointly with the Internal Revenue Service Criminal Investigation Division, as well as the Bexar County Sheriff's Office.
From Stone Oak onto Ritterman Road, where law enforcement started the long task of seizing more than 50 luxury vehicles the federal government claims were used in this operation.
An operation that's probably netted several $1 million in seized assets.
These vehicles were allegedly bought by 2 men. Jose Luis Magallon Jr. made his initial appearance in court just a couple of hours ago. In an affidavit, the federal government alleges that Magallon met a DEA undercover agent back in 2017 and told him he would launder his bulk money the undercover allegedly had made through drug trafficking, and that Magallon allegedly used to buy the exotic vehicles. In an affidavit, the agent in charge of the case states Magallon stated he could even ship luxury automobiles to the undercover agent outside of the United States. Magallon does this for members of the drug trafficking organization he works with in Michoacan. One other defendant will be in federal court tomorrow morning. Reporting from Rittiman Road, Demi Virgen, News 4 San Antonio.
Caught on camera, a fight breaks out at a Miami Heat game and one man is arrested. We're going to tell you what he did that landed him in handcuffs.
You're watching News 4 San Antonio.
Right now on the News 4 news feed, King Tut's tomb in Egypt just got a facelift to help protect it from tourists. It'll minimize scratches, dust, damage, and microbiological growth from people's breath and humidity. The project took 10 years to finish. In Ogden, Kansas, 4 people are dead tonight after a house fire that happened this morning. Crews went in, they pulled out 1 body, they went back in and found 3 more. The cause is under investigation. Need Super Bowl tickets? You better watch out for scammers. 28 people have been arrested for making fake tickets and merchandise. 21 of them were convicted. Investigators say buy tickets and merchandise from sources you know are legitimate.
Live back in the newsroom, let me check in with our news desk. We'll get you the stories and video coming in right now in 2 minutes. In the broadcast center right now, we're checking on what people are looking at and talking about online. Our assignment editor, Salvador Del Cid's looking at that, and it is our top story.
We're listening to our viewers. They've been reaching out, Randy, online and over the phone regarding the story about the clergy in the Archdiocese of San Antonio on Facebook. Normally this is pretty split up, but today it's one-sided. Some people saying that the church should be boycotted, some saying that it's ridiculous and that one abuse is just one too many. Randy, I took a call from a woman earlier today who wanted to find out what happened. She told me that when she was a child, she was abused by a member of the clergy. She hadn't reported it, now wants to report it, but didn't know how. We were kind of stumped by that, so we looked into it and we put those resources on our website at News 4 San Antonio. The diocese also has an office that supports and counsels others who need it.
And that's part of the report, as the Archbishop said. They encourage people. They know that this is going to trigger more, so they're encouraging that.
It's available.
We'll have much more on that at 6.
More than 3,000 more troops are heading to the U.S. southern border. They're joining the 2,300 already there. The Secretary of Defense asking for more troops earlier this month.
New video out of New Jersey shows just how cold it is up north right now. It was 23 below in Chicago, but here firefighters are literally freezing. You could see the water freezing on the building, the power lines, firefighters themselves as they are working to put out those fires. They even had to use a blowtorch at one point trying to thaw out the fire hydrants.
Back at the live desk with breaking news. We have new video into our newsroom within the last couple of minutes where firefighters were working to rescue a man in the rain-swollen Los Angeles River. Crews were able to get him to safety. It's unclear, though, how long he'd been stuck there. Right now, there are mandatory evacuations in certain parts of the LA area as counties there are under flash flood watches. And as California is dealing with storms, others are dealing with a bitter cold. We've also been monitoring these live pictures. This is a live look out of Fargo, North Dakota tonight, where snow is just everywhere. Delane?
All right, Melissa, thank you. Caught on camera, a man is behind bars after this confrontation at a Miami Heat game last night. You can see 23-year-old Adrian Mato trying to resist officers there before he's actually removed from his seat, and the 3 of them just fall several rows down. Officers say he was arguing with fans during the game. He was eventually arrested, and now he is facing multiple charges.
Now your 4-Zone weather with Chief Meteorologist Chris Suchan.
You see a lot of that sometimes in those games.
Yeah, most games, there's a little drinking involved sometimes.
Not at the Spurs games, though.
Never.
That's right. Classy
You want an
fans.
experience, you go to a Giants game or a Philadelphia Eagles game.
Oh, yeah,
And they actually have jails there at Philadelphia there, so the Usher fans right into it. Yeah, it's unbelievable. There's something else. Hey, listen, let's go outside. We've got a lot of clouds today, and just a little bit of rain. You see here a top-down view across the state. Actually got a weak area of low pressure right off the coast. It's been consolidated consolidating showers and some thunderstorms from Corpus Christi, Port Aransas, Victoria, and even clipped into just a few neighborhoods in the southeastern part of our region here. A little lightning and thunder today. Now, the bulk of this will stay near the coast as we go through this evening into tonight, and then it'll just sort of pull away from the region tomorrow. But we're still going to be stuck with a lot of this. A lot of cloudiness here. So another day tomorrow probably where the sunglasses very much optional if you need them, but you're not going to see a lot of bright sunshine. Again, on live powered Doppler radar, patches of rain through Hallettsville, through Yoakum, you've had the rain, Cuero seeing some of the rain, and as we take this back to the west, occasionally a little bit of mist showing up here, and that will continue through this evening. You see here as we zoom this in, see these little light green patches? That's just a little mist that kicks up, and we'll see that continue through the evening, and then eventually a little bit of fog sets in as well. Well, we managed to touch 60 degrees today. It's still below normal, but we are getting warmer, and there is a big warm up ahead of us here. But this is the final day of the month, and you put that into the fold here, do the calculations. We were above normal this January by about a half degree and running just a little bit of a deficit with our rainfall. Now outside, World Car Weather Cam view, there it is. Cloudy skies, 58 degrees. That is our current temperature. And you probably noticed too, the humidity levels are a little bit higher now as we're starting to pump in more of that Gulf air, and that's going to be with us right through the weekend into next week. Temperatures 50s and 60s across our 4 zones. And as we work our way through the evening, the item of concern for me is that we actually have pretty decent conditions for fog development. So let me put a pause here for you. This is 11 o'clock. If you're out late this evening running some errands, you can see that we could be already dealing with visibility around a quarter to a half mile or so in some cases in the area, including San Antonio. Just over a half mile visibility around 11 o'clock. And then there is your morning. We're looking at the possibility of widespread pea soup fog. And if you're not familiar with pea soup, it's a pretty thick mixture. That's what I expect first thing in the morning. It might be a slow go for your Friday. Again, with a little bit of mist, low clouds, fog, that's your Friday morning. Otherwise, the afternoon, just a lot of clouds, slight chance of a sprinkle or shower, especially to the east. I'm not expecting a lot of afternoon, evening rain tomorrow. And then Saturday starts cloudy with a shower or two in the area, and then it turns mostly cloudy for the afternoon. Not a bad Saturday, just mostly cloudy skies. 54 into the morning, 63 lunchtime, 67 tomorrow's high temperature. And then again, as said, as we look ahead, boy, we get a big warm up into the weekend into next week. Any chance for cold air coming at us is going to have to wait till late next week. You see that in our temperature trend. We're pushing 80 next week, and then we'll drop off by Thursday to 57. 4-zone weather forecast out west, 60s to near 70 degrees after some early fog. 60s into the hill country, morning dense fog likely, and then stays fairly cloudy. Hallettsville 68, 70 Karnes City into Goliad, and AM mist and fog across our central zone, and it just stays sort of cloudy through the day. 7-day forecast, wrap this up for you. 74 Sunday with a mix of clouds of Sunday afternoon. Very warm early next week, and then that cold front comes in Wednesday night and early Thursday with chance of some showers and a big drop in those temperatures. Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks, Chris. Game night for the Spurs again, going for their 4th straight win now.
Our Don Harris is courtside at the AT&T Center. Hey, Don.
Hey, guys, that's right. Brooklyn Nets in town tonight. Better than expected Brooklyn Nets, and the Spurs maybe getting some help back in the lineup. DeMar DeRozan has been upgraded, but is he good enough to go tonight? We've got a preview straight ahead. Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the AT&T Center game night with the Spurs as the Brooklyn Nets are in town. The Spurs trying to make it 4 in a row tonight before they head out on that rodeo road trip, and they should have good news tonight. DeMar DeRozan should be back in the lineup after missing the past 3 games with knee soreness. The Spurs upgraded him to probable last night. It would be good to get him back with the squad as they get ready to head out on the rodeo road trip in a few days.
For him to get as healthy as he can. We've got an important stretch coming up here to finish at home, and then obviously on the road to start the rodeo road trip. So to have him healthy is key, but to have him back and not miss too much where there can be that separation between the injured guys and the guys on the floor. So looking forward to having him back and continuing to grow with everyone on the floor.
2 more games before the rodeo road trip. The game against the Nets here tonight that tips off at 7:30, and then New Orleans is here on Saturday night. Hey, coming up at 6 o'clock, lots of big news. Big trade in the NBA, big news on the Cowboys front with the contract status of Jason Garrett, and the Cowboys name a new offensive coordinator. We've got all that coming up at 6 o'clock. At the AT&T Center, Don Harris, News 4 San Antonio.
Ahead for us tonight, it's the biggest source of overdose deaths tonight, how smugglers were nabbed with the biggest haul of the drug in U.S. history. Also, new information about what was seized during the raid on Trump associate Roger Stone's home. Tonight on NBC Nightly News.
Our new city manager and his perks. The votes were unanimous, and now Eric Walsh is officially our city manager. How his contract differs some from Cheryl Scully's, the one major change, and when he'll be able to take advantage of the benefits. That's coming up at 6.
And then after that, robots, planets, and Star Wars. Robots, planets, and Star Wars. Where those three will collide for an event that is free for you on News 4 San Antonio's Evening Break. That's coming up at 6:30. And the answer, put it in the form of a question.
I thought I saw the Emperor down at the Riverwalk here recently.
I didn't. I haven't seen it.
67 tomorrow. That's your Friday. A lot of clouds. Again, morning fog tomorrow. I think that's a big item to think about here. Planning accordingly for your commute. The weekend, morning showers Saturday. We'll get a little sun late in the day, 70, and then Sunday starts cloudy, and then we'll get breaks of afternoon sun, 74. So
was that Groundhog Day?
it's Groundhog Day.
Is that what that was?
6 more weeks.